while Contra is pulling in the pool from Pool 1, I'm just gonna remind you guys, in the Pool 1 we have Team RQ from Indonesia, Brand Sports from Philippines, Toda from Malaysia, and Burmese Gold from Myanmar. So right now, you gotta, all right, so it's all yours, man.
Got one in the bag. All right, so gonna crack this one open. And our first team for today, Burmese Golds.
All right. So right now, Burmese Gold is the champion for MPL Myanmar, where they have won all seasons, not all, the last 3 seasons of MPL without any losses. And during MPLI, they performed super well, where they almost made it to the finals. But either way, this is the first team that's going into Group A, Burmese Golds.
That's right, and Burmese Golds, one of the powerhouse that has been able to get such a magnificent result back in M1. They're hoping that this time around it's going to be different, that they will be the ones sitting in the grand final place. But there's still a lot more teams that will be drawn in towards each one of these lots, and Burmese Golds definitely is a name to have.
I can't even see from here. I don't know what's going on.
From the Malaysian side, Toda.
All right, so Malaysia representative will be going up in Group B. Now we're just wondering who else will be in Group B. Right now, there's only 2 more teams in Pool 1, which is Brand Esports as well as RRQ, which is going to be in either Group C or D, which I think many people, as of right now, would want to avoid either Group C or D.
Well, there's nothing that's being rigged here for sure, but now that there's only Brand Esports as well as RQ, I'm hoping to put RQ Hoshi into its Group B so that I can officially call it the Group of Death.
All right, so yeah, so we're gonna proceed forward. Where I think all the teams will be looking at Group C and D, because right now both of those groups look very strong with either Brand or RQ. And if I don't want to jinx it, but all right, Contra.
All right, it's time to find out then. And it seems to be the champion from the Philippines,
Okay.
Brand Esports.
Looks like Brand Esports will be going up into Group C, the champions of Philippines, where the Philippines, their MPL, they are very accustomed to best of 5s, best of 7s. So definitely Brand Esports, I would say, has the largest amount of stamina in this group right now. And right now Group C is not looking very easy, but we already know, we already know who's gonna be up in Group D.
Exactly, and I really didn't really thought that I would be able to pull this off, and I just really want to do it for the sake of, like, you know, hoping to put RQ Hoshi in towards the Group of Death.
Sure.
I guess I just got to do the honors right here. So, as you all might have known, the final team will be the champions of Indonesia, RQ Hoshi.
Yeah, RRQ has been looking very strong. However, during MPLI, they lost to Alter Ego 2-0. And right now, RRQ Hoshi, even though they're at the top of the table in their own MPL, but going up to M2, a lot of, I would say, meta changes is gonna happen. So we do have to see how does this affect our Indonesian champions. And right now, Contra, I think it's official that Group C and D are looking very tough. But we have to look at pool number 2 over here. We can see again, Alter Ego from Indonesia, Omega Esports from the Philippines, Resurgence as well as EOS SG from Singapore. Whichever group Alter Ego goes in, if Alter Ego goes in Group C, no one wants to be in Group C.
I agree with you with that, because there's no possibility that Alter Ego will be placed inside of Group D.
No.
So this is where things get a little bit iffy for all the teams that are hoping to be meeting with somebody else other than, you know, Alter Ego or even the likes of RQ.
I'm just saying, whichever group Alter Ego goes, that might be the Group of Death right now. So I think without further ado, we should look at Pool 2, and we're gonna pick up for Group A. So Contra, it's in your hands. Who will be going to Group A?
I just really hope you didn't remind me about that, but here we go. All right, so I guess this is going to be our first lucky team in towards Group A.
All right, and I can't see yet. I can't see, but
And it will be from the home country of Singapore. That will be the host nation for the M2, RSG.
all right. So Team Resurgence from Singapore is going up against Team Burmese Bulls in Group A. Right now, Group A looks fairly safe. Like it could go either way. Resurgence is very, very strong. They look, I would say, very, very consistent in their performances. So right now, Group A looks fairly balanced. It looks fairly okay.
Yeah, I definitely would say that these two sides might have actually met back in the other competitions. And in MPLI, there was also a whole lot of all these sort of the matches that were extremely exciting. Do you actually want to see a little bit of reenactment of MPLI?
Oh, I definitely do, because I feel like they really, really want to show what's up. Because during MPLI, again, as I've said, Alter Ego, they won every single game. They did not lose any games at all. And I think that other teams don't want that kind of domination happening in M2. So I think everyone will be playing their A game during M2. But speaking of which, right now we do have to move forward with the second team that will be going up against Toda in Group B.
All right, with that, it's time for us
Don't
to
make
roll
a
it
big goal.
once again. Okay, don't hate me for this. All right, so here we go. All right,
I swear, Contra, please.
all right, so in Group B, we will have Omega Esports.
This is still not easy for Group B, because Omega Esports is the runner-up in MPL Philippines, where they played against Brand Sport, even though they lost, but they showed very, very spectacular performances in the Philippines. Even though MPLI, they didn't do too well, they lost 2-0, but the same thing happened to Todak as well. So right now, Group B also looks fairly okay. I'm just happy Alter Ego is not in there.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is going to be really interesting, because there actually could have been only one possibility.
Yes! There's only one.
There's only one possibility that the team that
Did I just jinx it?
Well, I don't think you did jinx it, but it's just the nature of the draw. But we're still gonna be looking at how things are gonna go. So
You know, Contra, you might not know this, right?
Yeah.
But I've been known in the Mobile Legends community where whenever I make a prediction, bad things happen. This is one of those times my prediction might have been correct.
all right, so this is where things get even more interesting.
I saw it a bit, but go ahead.
All right, so for all of you viewers out there, this will be from the home nation of Singapore as well for our M2 World Championship, and it will be EVO Singapore.
Yeah, although, however, I feel like I don't know, I'm not too sure, but I think Alter Ego will have to go to a different group, just because they cannot exist in the same group as RQs. I'm not so sure whether they're going to be swapping places with EVOS SG. We'll just have to see. But right now, as you guys see it, EVOS SG is in Group C.
Well, there's also a possibility, if I'm not mistaken, that it will be pushed towards the next group itself.
So Group A.
It might just be it. So we really got to find out from our production crew on how this one's gonna go, as our very final team inside of this poll will be none other than the ones from the Indonesian side, Alter Ego Esports.
You know, you pulled off the Indonesian team last twice.
Well, I know this is just something that is very, very unlikely. And it was supposed to be a group of death, like if both of them were slot inside of Group D. So now that we have Alter Ego Esports will not be placed inside of Group D. They'll be placed in a different group. So we'll find out which group will they be placed at.
Yeah, I would say either A or C. We definitely have to check it out a little bit later. But there you go. All of the second pool has been drawn, where the first pool is RSG in Group A, and then Omega from Philippines will be in Group B. And as of right now, EVOS is in Group C and Alter Ego is in Group D. But because we have two Indonesians in the same group, we will definitely turn it around a little bit, right? And the thing is, right now, Contra, if you were in the third pool, as of right now, as we see on screen, which group do you think you prefer to be in?
If I were to be in any group right now, I would fancy my chances either on Group B or even from the actually it's really tough. If you ask me, everyone's champion on their own rights, runner-ups, as well as they've won multiple tournaments from the past. So it's really hard to tell because Todak has been on a very consistent form back in their MPL where
Not losing a single
they
series.
didn't drop a single game, like you said. And same goes towards the side of Alter Ego, which now getting drawn. They have not lost a single game in the MPL, not even a single match point out there given to anyone out there. But if I'm looking at chances here, I'm not disrespecting any teams at all.
Of course.
Of course, when we look at power rankings and such, I'm looking at Group A to be a real bit of a 50-50 where on a good day, any of these teams could actually win it all or even lose it all.
Yeah, honestly for me, I think Group B is the most comfortable in my opinion because both Toda as well as Philippines didn't look too, as well as Omega didn't look too well in MPLI. So obviously because they are champions, they are runner-ups, of course they'll be like, okay, you know what, during MPLI we didn't do too well. Let's review the VODs, see what really happened that causes the loss, and of course they will be training up until M2 to really figure out what
there's a possibility, right? And for 1 Second's Gaming Frost, if they were to be placed in Group A, that's going to be looking very, very much like the best group to watch. Yeah, so I think
there
and from the first team inside of Pool 3, we will have Dizvol.
Yep, we can see the representatives from Russia will be going into Group A, where they will be fighting against Burmese Ghouls as well as Resurgence. Over here we can see this Volt from Russia.
That's right, and they are definitely going to be the dark horses of the tournament, as we have already seen them really having a very good chance here. And now we're going to be looking at them being placed inside of Group A. Now, this group is rather interesting. There's a lot of great tactical maneuvers that will be brought up from RSG, aggression coming in from the side of Burmese Ghoul, and from the likes of it, the Russian team that we do have from Duzville is also one that is relatively aggressive. So this is going to be Group A being concluded, and we'll be moving forward for our next group.
Yeah, I still remember during the days of M1 where people were like, if you're going up against the Russian team, you guys have to ban out the Natalia. At that time, Natalia wasn't, like, she was playable, but she wasn't like, all right, you always have to first pick, you always have to ban. Specifically against the Russian team, they're like, you know what, you gotta ban out the Natalia. But right now, we can see Aaron has got the other team that will be placed in Group B.
Now, inside of Group B, we will have Impunity Esports.
Impunity from Cambodia. Impunity Esports will be going up into Group B with Team Todak as well as Team Omega Esports from the Philippines. So right now, the Group B stage is, I would say again, one of the more safer groups. However, I myself have to admit, I do not know much about Impunity for this year Contra because I have not seen any of the games.
Well, Impunity has been a powerhouse, and they are an esports organization initially founded in Singapore, as they have already established a lot more teams around Southeast Asia. But Impunity, they have been showing a lot of strength in the Cambodian side, and now with them coming on board, I believe that Group A definitely is going to be a stiff competition, as well as Group B here. But of course, this is going to be a lot more exciting than we thought, because Now, it's honestly anybody's ball game inside of Group B. Now, here comes the test. Group C, like you mentioned, will now be
The group of
death.
Group of death.
Automatically. So, whoever gets drawn into this pool here has got a lot of things to worry about.
We only have DreamHack as well as 10-second Gaming Frost. And I don't think either of those teams will want to be put into Group C, but
I think these teams here, they don't want to meet 1 second Gaming Frost.
yeah, so if 10-second Gaming Frost goes into Group C, then Group C is the group to watch.
Oh boy, I can't wait. Oh, what's it gonna be? And looks like we have our team from Japan.
Oh,
10-second Gaming Frost.
I just want to say I called it. I've called the Group C. I said that Group C is gonna be the group of death. I usually get predictions wrong, so I'm gonna pat myself on the back for this one. But yeah, 10-second Gaming Frost inside the death group, the group of death, Group C, alongside with Brand Esports, the champions of MPL Philippines, and Alter Ego, the champions of Mobile Legends Professional League International.
That's right, and now this leaves us with only one team remaining. And, well, you guys can make your guesses.
Sure.
If you guys haven't already guessed
Let
it.
me predict DreamHack.
That's right, from Brazil, it's DreamHack.
Yep, DreamHack has been looking pretty strong. However, going up against RQ as well as EVO Singapore, with both of these teams being super aggressive in the early game, it's definitely going to be very difficult for DreamHack to match against them, because their team, even if they have a more early to mid-game centric draft, they do seem to prefer playing a little bit closer to the late game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they might